Do you remember when the day that your service ended?
Yes, it was not a good day.
Can you describe that for us?
It was kind of heartbreaking. I'm not gonna lie. 'Cause give me one moment. It's still hard to talk about. But I'm one of the soldiers who was affected by the transgender ban in the military, um, and my service got cut short. And it was just hard because I still had a lot of stuff left that I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of plans. And my unit was understandable. They did not like the idea. All of my buddies hated what was going on. Even my higher ups, they were like, "This is not good," because I wasn't the best soldier. I'm not going to say that, but my first sergeant, he really said that when I was talking to him about it, he saw potential, and he really wanted me to stay in, but choices from back then, getting my diagnosis, kind of showed on the military side, and there was no way for me to, um, uh, keep it under wraps.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to voluntarily separate, and it's still hard. But my first sergeant, said to me that if it ever gets pulled back, and if I'm allowed back in, the unit still has a place for me, but it's still hard. It was probably one of the worst days of my life to hear that news that something that I can't change, that doesn't make me any different from any soldier, just only physically. But it's the world we live in. Some people don't understand, and people like me, take the fall for it. But I'm still taking the lessons that the military taught me, and applying it into my life today. So it's not a wasted effort. I still serve my country, and I still got very important life lessons from the military that still go with me today. It's just, it's just, I wish that I had finished out my service completely.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So the transition from military to civilian life, right? Even though in the National Guard there was a bit of a transition kind of constantly happening,
Yeah.
maybe, but not being in the military anymore, even for the reasons that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
What was that full transition back into civilian life like for you? Can you describe that?
It was, um, it was an interesting feeling, because as you said, we always had that constant transition. But when I got out and I sat down and was like, "That's it, I'm gone," the full weight of it just got to me, and I was like, I'm back. I'm not back to being a civilian. I'll always be a soldier. I'll always be a veteran, but still just sitting down being like, I'm not going back to my unit. I'm not going to see my buddies again every month. I'm not going to get to mess around with them. It was heavy, because it's now just like, well, I have to adapt back to just being a regular civilian again, not having to go to drill every month, and just have to adapt to just not, having to worry about when's drill, worry about my schedule and all that. And I mean, maybe that's a good thing because, sometimes I'd forget when drill was and I'd have to not haul myself, but just go a little bit faster down the highway. But it's still just, you sit down and every soldier is like, "Man, I can't wait to get out." But me getting out the way I did, just sitting down and being like, and having the transition back, it's just like, well, man, it's just, this is it. And it was just pretty heavy at first, and it took me a while to fully transition back to getting into the mindset of, well, I don't have to worry about drill or what we're doing or how long I'm going to be away for, who has to watch my cat, all that. And it's both a relief at first because you're like, well, now I don't have to worry about this, but it's also like, man, this is my life now.
Mm-hmm.
So, but so my transition was a little bit harder than most.